Hello, my name is Yansh Kumar, and this is the pilot episode of Project Granite just to get you familiar with the format and also learn some stuff. And Project Granite is an exercise in alien biospheres. Enjoy the pilot episode of Project Granite by a high school senior with no animation skills. Galaxies. The types of galaxies. Elliptical galaxies compose 15% of the total number of galaxies. They can range from 3,000 to over 700,000 light years across, excluding the really large CD type galaxies, but those are quite rare. It's shaped like an oblong, and it's formed from the traumatic merger of spirals, where they lose their arms and become sad, like this. The star formation in these is very low, and the metallicity is very high, which, as you can see, isn't super good for life, but probably still habitable. Lenticular galaxies. They compose 20% of the total number of galaxies. They can range from 50k to 500k light years, also excluding the really big ones because the numbers don't include the extreme cases. The shape is a flatter oblong than the elliptical galaxies, but still doesn't have those pretty spiral arms. And it's formed by spiral galaxies, or barred spiral galaxies, losing gas. The star formation here is low, and the metallicity is high. Spiral galaxies compose 20% of galaxies. Uh, it can range from 15k to 300k light years. The shape is an arms of gas wound around an elliptical bulge in the center, and it's formed from the angular momentum of gas clouds that collected in the early universe due to dark matter, and, depending on the size of the galaxy, may have fused together to form slightly bigger galaxies. The star formation in these galaxies is a medium amount, and the metallicity is also medium. However, the core definitely has much more metal than the rest. Barred spiral galaxies. They compose 40% of galaxies. They're similar in size range to spirals. The shape is also similar, except the bulge is a bar. And they're created by a density wave radiating from the inside of a spiral, creating the bar and slowly expanding it, like a bar of doom. The star formation in these is medium, and the metallicity of these galaxies is also medium and high in the bar. So very similar. Finally, irregular galaxies compose 5% of galaxies, so they're the rarest. They're usually really small, from 10k to 30k light years, but they're sometimes a little bigger. Their shape is varied. They're formed by the gravitational interactions with other galaxies, and the star formation is high and the metallicity is usually low, both of which aren't that good for planet formations. So you may notice that I did not include like the dwarf galaxies. Why? Because first of all, some of them are irregular and some of them are elliptical, and also because dwarf galaxies aren't really habitable because metallicity increases with the size of the galaxy because they're able to hold on to the metals better. So galaxies that are too small end up with stars with no planets. The galaxy we'll be using will be a barred spiral galaxy of medium size because they're the most common. They have intermediate metallicities. Too high, as in a big galaxy or an elliptical, and gas giants will form as gas starts accumulating around very large metal cores, but too low, and no planets will form, like in an irregular. They also have good amounts of star formation, which can lead to supernovae. Too much, as in irregulars and the formation of ellipticals, can lead to sterile planets, but too little leads to less extinctions to help diversify life on the planet, which could prevent intelligent life from arising, which is indeed what we're ultimately trying to figure out. Uh, we know that barred spirals can host life, too, because the Milky Way is a barred spiral, and the Milky Way has life. And finally, plot reasons, which I'll not go into. The location within the galaxy of this. First, the galactic halo. The halo, which is depicted as blue, which is kind of an arbitrary color, has very little metal. So the first one is looking on the galaxy from a side view, and the second one is from a top-down view, kind of. So, yeah. Then the thick disk. The thick disk, which is depicted as green, again arbitrary, has a bit too little metal. But because we don't really want to risk too many gas giants, we'll put the system on the boundary. Also, the star must be near the galactic disk and not too far away from the center, or else there will be too little metals for planet formation. Thin disk is good for planets, but it also carries the risk of too many gas giants. And the spiral arms. Spiral arms are not made of a fixed set of stars, they're actually density waves, propagating through different stars as those stars orbit. Indeed, the sun has passed through these arms tens of times, meaning that they're likely not a deal breaker for life. But due to the high concentration of young large stars, they can trigger extinctions as supernovae occur. I felt the need to mention this because many YouTubers seem to be propagating the misconception that the galactic habitable zone involves spiral arms not going through the star. However, this is impossible, as we have figured out. So, yeah, not really that much of a concern. Just be a little careful with the spiral arms. Finally, the galactic center, which is depicted as dark green and red here, is generally hostile to life due to having very high star densities, meaning more rogue stars and planets may be going through and messing up the system, and also due to radiation that's sterilizing from the supermassive black hole in the center. Very bright, do not underestimate. So, in the end, we will put this system over here, because I prefer to save my creativity for the later episodes, and because there are plot reasons for this. However, particularly astute observers will notice that this system location is much closer to the center of the galaxy than the sun's location is. This is because plot reasons, and also because there are too little metals in the area where the sun orbits, and the sun just got lucky. So we're putting it a little closer also. And thank you. Thank you for your help. And here's a nice artist's impression of the local group, only including the three biggest galaxies. Sorry, not much time. Bye!